Hello, this is Sean Porter, Principal Consultant with Infront Consulting Group, here to perform a quick demo on utilizing the Regkey2mof utility to extend the inventory capabilities of System Center Configuration Manager 2012 R2. For those of you not aware, the Regkey2mof utility is just a quick publicly available tool that's been made available by various members of the community to assist in obtaining registry keys and getting that information into an extractable format to allow us to very quickly and easily take that data, put it in a configuration manager, and allow us to gather up our inventory data for those specific bits of information that we're looking for that aren't in configuration manager outside of the box. So in order to do this, we open up the Regkey2mof tool like we have here and navigate to the registry key that we're looking for. As you notice, if we look on the different keys here, some will be expandable so that we can click through them and find more registry content. So in this case, I'm going to look through the software key. I'm going to find the Infront key, and we can see here that we have a custom entry that's been placed on this particular system called software/infront, and we have a key here that says image version. So this is an image version that's been stamped into the machine that allows us to go and extract the image version off of that box if we want to find out perhaps which versions installed or which applications are installed with that particular system image. So with these keys selected, you can see that down here on the bottom we've populated the information that we need for the two different areas that we need to place the registry key inventory information into. The first one that we are going to take a look at here is the configuration.mof. Now the mof file is what handles all the client inventory data, so this file is replicated out to all the config manager client machines and is used as part of the inventory process, and it contains all this stuff that we have selected out of the box to inventory on a given machine. So as we go and add more content to our environment that we want to inventory, we have to extend that file that's shared out with all the clients. Now, there's some caveats to this. We want to make sure that that this file is validated before you go and send it out to the broader number of systems. Because that if for whatever reason your compilation of the MOF file isn't accurate, then you could run into problems with your inventory process. In general, with the Regkey2mof tool, it does all the calculations for you. It's been pretty reliable, but it's always a good idea to make sure that you try to do this perhaps in a test environment, a test lab for a configuration manager before you roll it out into production to make sure that it behaves the way that you anticipate it. It'll not only save you a lot of time in the end, but also any potential hassle. So again, here we have our configuration.mof file information that we're going to need. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the content from this section, and we're just going to do a simple copy. And then we're going to go and we need to now find obviously our configuration.mof file. So what we'll end up doing is navigating to the install path of your configuration manager server here. So we can see we have this installed under the D drive, program files, Microsoft System Center 2012 R2, configuration manager, and then we look inside the inboxes, cli-files.source, and then HINV for hardware inventory. And you can see here that we have the configuration.mof file already existing here. And what I've done is I've created a backup. And this is, of course, just another best practice. Create a backup of the original or backup of your previous one and just have the backups in case you need to roll back to a previous iteration. All you have to do is rename the files and then allow the site to go and replicate that content out again. And this should allow you to kind of move things forward. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the configuration.mof file after I backed it up. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's a section that Microsoft has left us here for adding on different extensions to the environment. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste the content into this section. So we see here that we have the added extension start, and we have our Regkey2mof entry here for the Infront key that we were looking at earlier, and you see it at the end. So just make sure that's between these two pieces and we have it in that section. And once we're happy with it, then we'll go ahead and hit save. So now that content is going to be saved in the configuration.mof file, and this file will be shared out to clients in short order, allowing them to now inventory that key. Now, there's a second step to this process, and the second step here is actually extending the inventory classes within Configuration Manager so that it will understand what we're actually looking for. So it's one thing for the client to look for the content, but we need to tell Configuration Manager to go and look for it as well. So in this case, we take the content that we have here, and we're going to go ahead and highlight all this, and it's going to copy it, and then we're going to take this and we're going to place it inside of a text file. And I've already done that here. I just placed it inside of this file and I've named it as infront.mof. and save the content here. So we'll save that on our desktop and we'll reference it here in the next step. We'll bring up our Configuration Manager console and we're going to go into the Administration tab down here on the Wonder bar and we're going to find Client Settings. Now you can see here that we have the default client settings, which is your kind of across the board inventory and client policy configuration for all your different devices. Generally recommended to create a brand new custom client device settings for any changes that you might make to your default settings. In this case, we're just going to add a single tab specifically for performing different client device inventory, and we can target this to any group of machines that we want. So again, if you're only looking to look at this Infront key on perhaps your workstations for your workstation images, then you can just target this inventory there, or you can target this inventory change to all systems if it's a all-encompassing bit of information that you're looking for. Okay, so our custom client device settings is opened up here, and we'll just give this a name. I'm just going to say custom hardware configuration. Make sure we spell it right, configuration. And obviously it's always a good idea to put in a bit of description for use with custom registry information. And we're going to go ahead and just check off the hardware inventory tab. You could, of course, add different tabs to this particular mix, but we're just going to, for the purposes of this demo, add hardware inventory to the mix here. So with our hardware inventory selected here, we just go and click the Set Classes button. And this allows us to go and add different hardware inventory classes, and we can select ones that already exist. So as you can see here, it's loading up what it can currently see. And once we get this information, we'll be able to check off various pieces. And you can also see down here that we have the option to import. So for our MOF file, what we're going to end up doing is importing that content into the environment because it won't exist already. Okay, you can see there's a number of unselected categories, generally not inventoried by Config Manager out of the box, usually because it's not necessary for most environments. And if we have all of this selected, it will impact the performance of the site, and we obviously want to try to avoid that whenever possible. So we're just going to go ahead and click Import. I'm going to locate the infront.mof file that I created earlier, and this is the file that had the extensions. It's going to look at it quickly and validate that the content is acceptable, and it's going to go ahead and import these two classes. Click that Import button. And now you can see down here that we have the Infront and Infront 64 keys imported into this from the MOF file that we created. So far we've done the configuration.mof and we pasted in that content, and we've now added the hardware inventory classes into Configuration Manager so it understands what to go look for after that. And you can see that you can add any number of different things. We can import and export more keys as we deem necessary. Then go ahead and click OK, and I'll click OK again. And then the only thing that we have left to do is now target this hardware inventory class or request change that we made to a set of client machines, so that now when it runs its hardware inventory process, that we're going to be able to fetch that registry key information off those machines. So what we'll do here is I'll pause the demo briefly. We'll go and run through an inventory cycle here, just through the magic of demo time, and we'll present you with what the final result will look like in the end. Okay, and so now our whole inventory process has completed. We see here that I've gone and started the Resource Explorer on one of our client machines, SCCM01, and we can see here on the left in the hardware inventory section that we have both the Infront and Infront 64 keys. Seeing here that the image version number that we placed in here, 11.1a, which is found in the registry, is now inventoried on this particular machine. We can use this now to build collections. We can refer to this during collection queries, reports, any other kind of information like that. This is now in the database and associated with this given machine. Now, if you're doing this in a demo lab, you're trying to again test out this before you get started and you want to expedite the process, just make sure you remember that you have to kick off a machine policy retrieval, which will then upload that configuration.mof file to the client in a more expedient fashion if you're trying to get it done faster than your regular client policy cycle. Otherwise, whatever your client policy cycle timeout is will happen, and then that file will be uploaded, but you can of course expedite that using this. Once you've done that, give it a couple minutes to process and copy that information up, and then you can go ahead and just force a hardware inventory cycle, and then within a few minutes that content will be inventoried and then brought back up into the machine. If you're curious about if your key is actually being inventoried or not, you can look at the client machine's log files. And the file that you want to look for is the inventory agent.log, and you can just do a quick search and find your key. So I just did a quick find here and found Infront in my list, where obviously before I didn't have this inventoried. But you can see here that it's gone through and it's collecting all these inventory data successfully, and you can see our Infront one is right here. And that's how you can confirm whether or not your keys are being properly inventoried by a given client, or if there's some issue with that. So lots of ways to verify and validate what you're doing ahead of time. And again, it's definitely recommended to make backups of your configuration.mof file. Test this in a lab environment before you go too far with it. But as you can see, very powerful, very quick and easy to take any kind of custom registry information that you want that's not already inventoried by configuration manager. Is already a very strong inventory process, and just extend that a little bit further with the super easy to use Regkey2mof utility. Thanks for watching. This has been Sean Porter with Infront Consulting Group.